Let's go. What is up, fam? What is going on? It's your boy. Let's go. We're live. We're live. Give people a sec and then we'll get this popping. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This podcast is going to be a banger. It's going to be, all right, I'm feeling good, even though I'm a little tired. Today's been a long day. I'm going to lower this light because it's a little too bright. That's good right there. Okay. That's good. Dope. All right, cool. All right, let's get into today's episode. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to be talking about how to actually get results. So let me pause this, get this. Cool. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. What is going on, squad? Welcome back to another episode of the Shift Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast. It's your boy, Coach Sal. Let's get it. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to actually get results and sustain them. I've seen this time and time again. I wanted to come on here and give you guys some clarity, okay? Because it's one thing to think you're getting results and maybe you are progressing, but then it's another thing to sustain that and actually create a lifestyle that you're proud of. And I've seen this with myself in the past with a lot of clients. So if you're struggling in any way with getting results and keeping them, then we're going to have you guys freaking covered in today's episode. So I'm really excited to bring this to you. I'm really excited to be delivering some value. Okay, so first off, so we're gonna talk about a couple different factors here that I see as a coach that really play a tremendous role in getting clients results. Is number one, the activity level, your total daily energy expenditure. So what does that mean? What are we looking at here? We're looking at the total amount of calories that you're burning on a day-to-day basis. So what are the factors that we need to be focusing on? Well, let's first take a look at your lifestyle. You know, like, what is your job like? Are you at a desk? Are you working construction? Are you a server, right? Like, if we think about all those roles for a second, right? Like, if you work construction, obviously you're going to be moving your body a little bit more, right? And as a result, you're probably going to be burning a little bit more calories. So is it logical to say that you probably have the same amount of macros as someone who has a desk job? No. But that's the thing, is that maybe some coaches, some trainers aren't taking that into consideration. And this is something that we really need to focus on, is understanding, oh God, there the fucking thing goes. I almost dropped my phone as I was trying to wave to my boy. Maddie, what's up, kid? So listen, I want to stay on track with what I was trying to say here because I had a good train of thought. So that logically does not make sense when we're trying to calculate someone's macros, calories, depending on their goals. Like, the more I learn about coaching, the more clients that I work with, the more I realize that this is not a one-size-fits-all. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, we could talk about like metabolism, gut health, hormones, like all these different things. And what's crazy about everything that I just mentioned is that all of those are forever evolving. They're forever changing and adapting, like myself included. Like, the body is really a tricky, remarkable like mechanism. There's so many different variables that go into it, but I want to really focus on some of the main pillars that I use as a coach to get my clients results. Okay, so we're talking about the total daily amount of energy that you are expending. That plays a huge role. Okay, like, think about this. Like, if you're someone who works construction, you're on the roof all day, sweating your ass off, right? Like, hammering, using a hammer, doing all the shit. Is someone at a desk job going to consume the same amount of food? No. So we need to take that into consideration. How much protein, how many carbs, how much fat, meal timing, right? These are all different things, right? And I think that's huge. That gets overlooked. And then we place a huge emphasis on our Apple Watch and how many calories we're burning, and MyFitnessPal, which is a great tool. But is that 100% accurate? There's no such thing as 100%. And using all these tools is great, but we need to really focus on the driving factors here. Like, let's logically break this down for a second, okay? Are you moving your body consistently? Yes? Okay, then maybe we need to look at it from that standpoint, right? But I think another big factor, the second one that I want to talk about, is stress. Stress plays a huge role in the way that your body adapts to exercise, your mood, your energy, right? So then the question is, all right, well, then how do we mitigate our stress levels, right? And I think there's a couple things. I think it's being intentional with the people that you surround yourself with and the amount of time that you're spending on certain tasks. Like that matters. So we're talking about like stress, right? And how to reduce that. Maybe it's being intentional with your screen time. Maybe it's not checking emails on the weekends. Maybe it's really taking some time to be present with family and friends, like actually doing things that fill your cup and actually that you enjoy, and I'm guilty of this too, with trying to like do so much all the time with my business and fitness and all this shit that I got going on. Like I've been neglecting myself a little bit, and I'm still doing that because I'm prepping for a show and it's been really, intense. But as a result, I'm a little stressed, and that plays a role in your results, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys getting value so far? Why does my phone keep falling, bro? It's so annoying. Like, trying to get this to stay. I'm trying to do this before. There it is. Nice. Does that make sense? Are you guys getting value so far? Let's get this guy out of here. Let's get him out of here. This guy's giving me the finger on the stream. What's up with that? TikTok, is that making sense? Are you guys getting value so far? I appreciate you guys tuning in. Matt, you're still with me, bro. All right, so I'm going to lock in for my boy Matt. My boy Matt's here, and I want to give him some fucking actionable tips here. All right, so let's keep this rolling with this podcast episode, all right? Okay. Stress plays a huge role, and it's fun. I'll give you an example with this. I moved to Florida recently, and when I went to go see my physical therapist, and the first week I came down and I saw her, and then a month went by, a few weeks went by, and then I saw her again. She was like, "You look completely different," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, your body looks different. Your skin looks healthier. You just look like a healthier, more energetic person." And I was thinking about that, and I was like, when I was back home in New York, it was always dark and gloomy and cold. There was no sunlight. I wasn't outside. I wasn't happy, and I wasn't able to do things that I wanted to do. Whereas now this environment has allowed me to do that. So that's what I'm trying to get across here is your environment is going to determine your stress levels, your energy, your overall mood, and that's literally going to impact your physical results. Isn't that fucking crazy to think about? And like, I'm still learning every single day, and that's why I love coaching so much, is because every single day I learn something, whether it be nutrition, training, mindset, it goes on and on. It's ever changing. It's ever evolving. And that's the thing too, with also our bodies, our needs and our goals, those are also ever evolving as well. I've been really overweight, and that was a phase that I had to go through where I had to drop a lot of weight, right? And then I built it back up. I was lean bulking for a while, eating a good amount of calories. And now I've slowly been cutting down to make stage weight for this competition. And then from there, I'm going to reverse diet into a lean bulk phase. And it doesn't end. Fitness doesn't end. And I fucking love it because there's always something to improve on. There's always something to change. Now, the reason you guys were here is to actually get results. So I want to stay on track with that. And that ties into the last point we're going to talk about here is sleep. Sleep and micronutrient absorption. So what does that mean? Well, obviously, sleep is going to play a huge role in your recovery and just really repairing the muscle tissue when you go and break it down inside of the gym, right? Because that's the whole process, okay? You go into the gym, you tear down the muscle fibers, and then you repair it with quality nutrition and quality sleep. So if you do not have quality nutrition and quality sleep, then it's going to be difficult for you to recover, perform well, and actually make gains. Now, that may be obvious to you, but we're going to dive a little deeper into that. So how much sleep should you be getting? 6 to 8 hours a night minimum. And also, quality plays a role too. Like if you're constantly waking up every 2 hours, then that's not optimal as far as achieving a quality REM cycle. So how do you get better sleep? Be intentional with your screen time. Okay, maybe you order some blue light glasses. Maybe you stop drinking water by a certain time so you don't have to get up 4 times throughout the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Right? Like it's these little subtle things that we just kind of slip through the cracks, but if we think about all of these decisions that really stack on top of each other and all of these decisions that compound over time, if you're consistently moving those and making better choices in the right direction, that could drastically impact the entire trajectory of your mind, body, and life. That's the goal with these podcasts. That's the goal with these live streams, is to give you guys actionable value on how to change your life. And if you listen to what I say, and you give it some thought and you implement. I'm telling you, like, I live and breathe this shit all day, every day. I'm driving, I'm listening to a podcast. Every morning, I'm reading books. I'm in mentorship programs. I don't stop. I'm addicted to the process. So if there's just one thing that you pick up from this, that's a win for me. And that's why I do it. I enjoy it. I like helping people. I always said that. When I was growing up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself at all. I didn't I played sports. I was an athlete. I played like football, baseball, basketball, yada, yada, and I played college baseball, whatever. And I just, for the longest time, didn't have a purpose, and I don't have shame in admitting that because I feel grounded now. So every holiday, whether it be Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, my family would always say, well, Sal, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to study? And I never really knew. And I didn't really have a purpose with that. So why am I bringing this up is because I feel like I've been able to find one, and I've been creating it through experience. I'm right there in the trenches. I live and breathe this shit. And that's why I enjoy it, because it's something for me to work towards. It's something to improve upon. And I do like it. Who doesn't want to look good? Who doesn't want to feel good? And if you're going to sit there and say that, you're probably lying to yourself. You can say whatever you want to other people, but at the end of the day, the only person that matters is you and the relationship that you have with yourself. And you can't fake that shit. Right? Does that make sense? I know that was a little bit of a ramble and a rant as far as what I was saying, but is that valuable? Are you guys hearing me clearly? Does that make sense? I feel like I just said that 3 times. As you can tell, my brain is not really functioning at an optimal rate. Why? Because I'm eating 1,800 calories a day right now, about 3 weeks out from my first fitness competition down in Texas. Super excited. At the end of June, the boy's going to be on stage. We're super fucking pumped. But Lenore, I appreciate that. You need to show up for yourself 100%. But I want to keep the value of this podcast rolling. Let's wrap it up here. Promise I was going to fucking do these, and I'm doing it. And I'm honestly proud of myself for doing this. And you should be proud of yourself for showing up. Okay. So the last point here, when it comes to actually getting results and sustaining them as well, is the micronutrient absorption. What does that mean? It's the types of foods. So, there's a big thing right now in the fitness industry with macros and just following your macros. And what does that mean? It's the basic breakdown of your calories, protein, carbs, and fats, and how much you should be consuming on a daily basis. Now, for argument's sake, if you want to just take a macro approach, you're basically just following numbers and tracking that. So you can pretty much eat not whatever you want, but the point with that is that you're either eating the same things or a variety of different foods. Now, when it comes down to micronutrient absorption, okay, the different types of vitamins and minerals that are in different foods, it varies food to food. If you're going to take a certain vegetable, let's just say spinach is going to have some more nutrients as opposed to a bag of Cheez-Its, right? So maybe that was a bad example, but hypothetically, you get what I'm trying to say. If you take 2 separate foods and you compare them, maybe the macros, the numbers on the food labels are similar, but the micronutrients between the two are vastly different. And I think that's something that gets really overlooked. Now, why is that important? Because that's going to play a role in your digestion. It's going to play a role in your gut health, in your recovery, in your performance in the gym, in your sleeping patterns, and all these things. And I just think there's so many things that get overlooked in today's world, with myself included. There's a million different variables that go into training and nutrition and supplementation, and for me, it's just a really interesting thing. So if I could come on here and give you guys some value, then it's man, this is the coolest thing ever, and I really do enjoy it. And I appreciate you guys showing up, and I hope that you're getting something from it. Now, when it comes down to being consistent, I like the macro approach as far as, maybe trying to eat the same foods to stay consistent, because maybe you are really busy. Maybe you work, 40, 50 hours a week. And when the weekends roll around, you don't want to spend it, doing your meal prep. So maybe that's where you could take some time to use a meal prep service and follow a bit more of a macro style approach. But if you're really serious about taking it to the next level and really optimizing, what you're doing and leaving everything on the table, then maybe you do some research and pay attention to the level of micronutrients that are in your foods and being really strategic and diligent with the food labels as well. Like the ingredients are there. And if you take the time to read it, it will help. And if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't be eating it. And that's a rule of thumb that I got from a fellow coach of mine. So I'm going to say that again. If you're reading a nutrition label and you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it, because there's so many different things that are put in our foods nowadays. It's scary. It's scary. Like I went to the grocery store the other day and I was kind of in a pinch because I was traveling a little bit. And I picked up this chicken quesadilla and I read the label. And guys, I swear to God, it was like a laundry list of ingredients. And like, this is what I'm trying to say, like the micronutrients, like all these things that you can't pronounce, that you don't even know what they are. Like if you think about that, you probably shouldn't be putting it into your body. And that's probably having a negative impact on your results, energy, mood, hormones, all different things. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a registered dietitian. I am a personal trainer. But I will say I am heavily immersed in the health and fitness space, and I am constantly doing work every single day to continuously learn. So with that being said, for the average person, I think this is super valuable. I think you guys could take something from this. And even if it's just one thing to go and implement, that could be the difference for you. That could be a needle mover. That could be something that makes an impact over the next few weeks, And that's the whole thing, is that you're continuously stacking that, building momentum, learning to love the process and having fun with it, because fitness doesn't have to be a chore. And I used to view it as that for years on end. Like I could get into some really dark stories, and maybe that's another podcast for a different day. But like I used to do like just chicken and lettuce, like every meal for like, there was like a maybe 6-month year period where I did that. And I unhealthily lost like 60 pounds. And I thought I would look good, but I was like, so like too skinny. And I just didn't know what I was doing. And then I gained it all back. And I just like, I've gone through like, I don't know, maybe like 5-6 ups and downs with weight fluctuation. I've learned a lot of shit. So that's the goal with here, with what we're doing, what we're talking about, is to give you guys some applicable action, applicable steps that you can go and implement into your life to change your life. Does that make sense? Are you guys getting value so far? Even though I said that like 7 times, I appreciate you guys showing up. I apologize if I'm rambling. Your boy is super low in calories. We're about 3 weeks out from the show. I'm fucking exhausted. I had an insane day today. A lot of driving, a lot of traffic, a lot of training, posing, cardio, business, calls. It's always something, but this is what we signed up for, so I can't complain. But for those who are here, I freaking appreciate you guys rocking and rolling with me. It really does mean a lot, and I hope you're taking something from this. As you can tell, I'm having a hard time. But let's wrap this up, okay? So to wrap this up and recap for a second, in conclusion, we're talking about how to actually get results and focusing on the other areas that really matter. Number one is going to be your activity level, okay? What does your day what does your day look like? Are you sitting at a desk? Are you working construction? Are you moving your body a lot? The more that you move, the more calories you're going to burn. Now, we could take the basic approach that it is calories in, calories out. And yes, that is true to some degree. But at the same time, there is a lot of other factors, hence this podcast. And the next factor, number 2, is going to be your stress levels, okay? We have to take that into consideration. Are you stressed? Like take a minute to like really reflect and sit down with where you're at in your life. Like, are you happy? How's your energy? How's your mood? How do you speak to people? And I think the question to ask, or, how do we change that is, okay, well, let's be more intentional with how we're spending our time, who we're surrounding ourselves with, the conversations that we have with ourselves, how we speak to ourselves, all those different things. Again, like we shouldn't be checking emails all weekend. We should really be diligent with where we're like what we're doing. And I think it's being self-aware in the fact that understanding, who and what you should and shouldn't be doing. And I think that's really interesting. And I also think that plays a huge role in your mood and your stress, which could also impact the results over time. And then the last point, number 3, is sleep and micronutrient absorption. Now, I've already gone into detail on these. I'm just wrapping up really quick. Now, I think the macro approach is good for consistency, but obviously it varies person to person. And there's different types of foods that have different types of micronutrients in them, different vitamins, minerals, and calories and breakdowns. And that's another episode for another day. But please be aware of what you're putting into your body. Make sure that you are reading food labels, making sure that you are trying to choose better options, and try to cut back on the processed foods and the insane amounts of sodium and sugar and preservatives that are like on every aisle surrounding us. And it's almost like the system wants us to fail. And I'm trying to be someone to help others combat that and really push forward and push through, because it is difficult and it is challenging. And I know what that feels like. I've been there, which is why I love coaching. So that is it. That is all. Hope you guys got some fucking value. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace, love, and protein talk soon. Man, I'm having a hard time talking today. Prep brain is fucking real. All right, guys, I'm going to go head out. I have my last meal and hit the sheets. It's getting late here in South Florida, so I appreciate y'all. Catch you guys in the next one.